to ATHLETICS LLC with Lamar, Lucius, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience.
Yes, sir.
We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
And it's recording day. Yay! Happy Athletics LLC Day. Yay! See, Deliria at its best. It's starting to wind down now. Anyhow,
Y'all
welcome
still look tired.
We are. We are. You have no clue. No clue. I mean, maybe, but so we are here again. Five Tiles bringing you another fun episode of Athletics LLC.
Easy for you to say.
I know that I'm getting tongue tied, but I'm gonna say it now so that we don't forget it and then have to toss it in the last 2.5 seconds. Is 100 plus. We did it. 100 plus. So you know what I did notice? We need to redo our intro. Because now we have 5 people. I really just now noticed. Sorry, Governor. I don't know why it took me so long to notice that.
Okay, it's okay.
But welcome. Thank you all for joining us for as many episodes as you've been with us. You know, we appreciate the continued support. And, you know, as you all do, as some of you do, keep sending us the topics that you want us to cover. Because this show keeps going every week because of things that we talk about at our desks, at the water cooler, at the meets, in our coaches' boxes. So we just like to bring it here to you on YouTube. That's all. So nevertheless, let's say hi to the gentleman tonight. The governor, how are you today?
Tired. I feel like the indoor train just crashed into the outdoor train
and pushed you over.
Yes, I was catapulted from the indoor train into the outdoor train, and now we're heading down that track. And you see what I did there? Heading down that track. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Unintended.
I know, right? Sir Lucius, help him. How are you today, sir?
I can't help him. I'm probably more tired than he is. I mean, it's just, you know, I agree. You come out of the indoor meet and then, we got to do 4x1 exchanges. You know, it's like,
right.
So,
right.
But I am well.
Excellent. Well, that is great to hear. Lamar, 3 world records husbands. How you doing?
I don't know what day or time it is, but I feel great. I feel
you
great.
know what country you're in.
I do barely, but I will say this. There is nothing that will more further discombobulate your brain than when you're almost home from Europe and then there's a tornado where you live, so your flight doesn't go anywhere, so you spend the night in another US city, and then the next day you go home, and now, like, I don't know what day of the week it is, so I just gave up. I wake up and take people to school, hopefully.
And maybe not need to stay.
I may very well take a kid to school on Saturday. That might happen.
Last but not least, Clyde, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. You know, I'm good. You know, I'm waiting to see Texas relays.
Yeah. It's about that time. It's about that time.
It's relay season.
It is. It's a thorough part of practice right now. It really is. So anyhow, let's start our topics and let's address I don't know if it's the biggest elephant in the room, but our recent weekend of Indoor World Championships recap. You know, and I'll start it off with this. I had a former high school track athlete, not of mine, but a parent now. And he stopped me today and he said, man, did you see all those races and things that happen at indoor championships? And I was like, praise Jesus. Someone outside of track and field saw what happened. So it was entertaining enough to grasp someone's attention. So we'll start with that. But there was a lot of foolery as well. A lot of foolery. So please feel free to jump in, whichever pool you want to start with first.
I'll say this. There was so much. I think we should just let each tile pick their favorite version and go from there.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, actually.
What
What is your highlight?
I mean, no. We have to start with the man who actually did the trap. We have to start.
I mean, how many of these panels actually have someone that was there? It's a different vibe altogether.
Yeah. So
please, Lamar,
you get your pick, sir. You were there.
Please
give us
bless us with your synopsis.
Your worst of the things.
So you want my worst?
Yes, we want the thing that drove you the craziest. You get to open.
Okay, it's really simple. Between the five of us, we've been I don't know, 10,000 track meets, right? Outside of summer youth track, and that is, we all know that is solely because of numbers of human beings. So take that particular track meet off the table. Is there another track meet where you run 5 400s in 3 days? Because the way the indoor world is set up, you have trials and semis of the 400 on day 1, finals of the 400 on day 2, and then semis and finals of the 4x4 on day 3. So you are legitimately penalized for being good in the 400. So if you ask me what was the worst thing I saw, that.
Well, we can get back into that later. I think that'll end up playing out somehow.
There was a lot of, listen, I'll be honest with you. There was a lot of challenging things.
This wasn't a 4-day competition. It's a 3-day competition.
3 days.
Yes. 3 days. And that's what made it wild that they chose to have 3 rounds of the 400. Because if you look at it, if it's a 3-day meet, like you're gonna have to run 2 rounds in 1 day.
Right.
They also ran, all the dash races were 3 rounds in 1 day. So 360. That's not unheard of, right? That's happened before.
Yeah. That's actually very popular with the college scene because it gives them a chance to get that last one be hot. So.
So,
no one, the EP, no one believes you that the most egregious thing you saw was the 400 meters time schedule, but that's all right. We're gonna circle back to you. We know you have more for us than that, Governor.
I definitely do.
Governor, give us something.
Well, let me ask this: why are we going for the egregious? There were a lot of incredible things that happened at the meet. Why are we looking for the bad stuff?
Because Clyde took control of the mic and decided to run with it.
Like I
felt like we should end on the positive. I felt we should end on the positive.
Why don't we just start with the positive and continue with the positive? And the other stuff will come out eventually. But Lord have mercy, man, you don't just start with the negative stuff.
I mean, that's why I was like, I thought it was wild that the question I was being asked was, what was the worst thing I saw?
He couldn't wait.
Tell me the worst thing.
Couldn't hold himself back.
Hey, you ran a track meet where you saw 3 world records. Well, let's not talk about that. You know,
I was trying to throw a softball to him, and he ain't even hit it. He ain't even try to swing at it.
No, I watched that nonsense go by and gave a real answer.
All right.
So here's Sir Lucius. Why don't you tell us what you saw that was like? I mean, what was your highlight?
Okay. We'll go highlights.
Okay, like for me, obviously, Grant, doing what he did was a big time highlight for me. And I've been asked what his grade was. Gave him a B+ for the semi, and I gave him a C for the final. But it was exciting to see him really starting to embrace some of the things we've been working on. The B+ from the semi came because he had a little bit of a blip between hurdles 4 and 5, or the world record would be really fast. And then finally, he just went out there and just like I'm trying to run 7 flat, which is just not happening. So
Right.
I thought the men's 60 was interesting. I'm still not convinced that Coleman didn't win the race.
Now, see, now you want to go into the controversy. See,
Hold on a second. Hold
sticking
on a second. Hold on a second. But it's okay. I was impressed with Coleman. I'm not convinced he didn't win the race. Now, I'm not controversial. I'm just stating an opinion because clearly, Jacobs won the race, but I'm not sure about that. So that's the second 60 where I'm a little bit iffy on the indoor season anyway. But anyway, so I was very impressed with Marvin Bracey. Very impressed with Marvin Bracey. I thought that he didn't start as well in the final as he had in the first round, or that the result could have been a little different. And I was also impressed with the women's 60 field as a whole. I mean, for all of them to line up, that execution at its best. You guys know me, I'm big on execution, and to see, 6, 7, 8 women just line up and all get after it. I mean, and big shout out to Makai Briscoe. She's really come a long way.
And I mean, look, let's just jump right there, right? Huge shout out to Mary Beth Sant Price. Is that her last name?
Right.
Because look, we all know, every single one of us knows what it's like in your first major championship. And to have navigated that in one of the best fields ever assembled and watch all the craziness go on around her, and for her to run 7:04 twice.
Yeah.
She did one heck of a job. But I want everybody to say it with me one time. Kambunji.
Okay, but no, wait. In all seriousness, because there was so many good things, right? Like we're gonna end up skipping past a lot of it in this format. Can we stick to one and get into it though? I don't care which one. Like, okay, the first thing out your mouth, Sir Lucius, was Grant's world record in the men's 60-meter hurdles. I thought Grant was brilliant. Everybody did, but there's some nuances there. Like you say, you gave him a C for the final, where he blew everybody out. Right now, we talked to you, so we know the error that was made. But personally, I thought it was one of the most amazing saves I've seen. Because, like,
okay, so
can you give us that? Because that was really hard to do.
So it was, and we have all discussed it. We're not sure that he's from this planet to begin with, so let's start there. But like he over rotated because his hands got too high, and the biggest mistake he makes is he over competes and his hands get too high and his stride opens up. I have watched the video a lot. I don't know how he saved that because he doesn't hit hurdles. Let's start there. He doesn't hit hurdles.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's accustomed to doing that. So no, I mean, I give him a C, but I mean, it's hard not to give him a B or an A because he's a world champion,
Yeah.
But I think that if you're watching Grant race, the key to Grant being what we all believe he will be someday is him learning to be more patient, and him, like he is the ultimate competitor. And so he thinks the best way to get things done is just to go as hard as he can, and he can't do that in hurdles. But the save at hurdle 3,
yes.
I'm not gonna front. I sat up in my chair like, oh my God, right? But no, it was amazing. It was.
But would you say, Sir Lucius, that is a direct result of what happened last year? And what I mean is, there is meet management, there is race management, right? And then there's fixing things on the fly. And for the people that are not as confident, they might get so preoccupied with trying to fix that mistake that they completely lose track.
Right.
Momentum, everything goes out the window. Like, I think for the coaches that understand running and hurdling, and I did the same thing. I was like, oh my, and he saved it.
Well, here's the backstory. So we talk about these things.
Right.
Like I talked to him like, okay, you have to be able to feel what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because like we don't get timeouts in track and field. Like, hey, timeout, Grant's too close to the hurdle, right? We don't get those. So like I tell him, you've got to be able to feel when you do these things, and then you have to be able to fix it.
Yeah.
So what you saw was a byproduct of those conversations, because he gets too close in practice sometimes.
Right.
And then I say to him, when you do that, how do you fix it? So I'm not surprised that he fixed it, because he knows how to fix things. But in the moment, it was like, wow, because, you know,
well, also
and
in the moment at that speed.
Yeah.
Exactly. And see, and that's the thing, like he is really, really fast. Like, and this is going to sound crazy, but there's no doubt in my mind that he can run 640 low.
So can I stick this in there really quick? Because look, yes. I've been asked like the most incredible thing I saw this week, and trust me, I saw a lot, and I don't know that this is the most incredible thing I saw this week, but something I saw that I'm not sure that most people are privy to, because I think it was only released on Twitter, but prior to race day, in a practice session, Flamingo is doing a block start over hurdles next to Christian Coleman.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Flamingo beats Christian Coleman to the takeoff spot and almost beats him off the back end of the hurdle. Yeah. And I just need, I need those who understand fast people to like walk that back in your mind and understand that a guy who is 7-stepping the first hurdle beat the world's fastest 60-meter guy for 13 meters.
13 meters.
Crazy.
I mean, listen, we all build, 100-meter models starting from 0 to 10, right? He beat him 0 to 10. Okay.
I mean, for sure. Like not a lean, nothing, for sure.
he takes off somewhere 11 plus.
Yeah, it's 11 meters and some change, yes.
Right. So
yeah, so he definitely beat him for 10.
So when his coach is sitting here telling the audience that the man can run 640, it's not an exaggeration. And for me as a ex hurdler, I was never that fast. And I know that at the speeds I was able to generate, hitting the hurdle that way would have been really hard to recover from. Stay on your feet. Listen, he's not running 7.0 in the hurdles, but if he doesn't do that at that moment, the record's 7.1 something. It's 7.1. Okay, so like that was an incredible just bit of athleticism. And unless you ran hurdles at any kind of real level, you can coach it. But unless you run it, you don't understand how hard that is to do. And that was incredible. So like in the moment,
740 at 9 o'clock in the morning is also ridiculous.
But in the moment, I'm sitting there like, I swear the thing went to slow-mo and I'm like, no. It's like, oh wait, he survived. Like it was crazy. So props to the world indoor champion.
And so I have to go back and give him an A for the 740 in the morning at that point. Like he called me afterwards and he's like, "What did you think?" And I'm like, "You're just disrespectful, man. I don't want to talk to you right now." What do you mean? I was like, "Nobody runs 740 in the morning." And he goes, "Well, I could have run faster." I'm like, "That's the point. Like you're disrespectful." So but the best thing about him right now, he's very confident, and that taught him a lesson. He knows that he made a crazy mistake and he got away with it. So we've already had the conversations on like, so now the goal has to be not to fix things when you feel it go wrong. Let's not let it go wrong at all. That's the next charge. So
all right. So sticking with the order that Lucius gave us, women's 60.
Let me say it one more time.
When you talk about first championships, right? Brianna Williams. She turned 19 when she got back from that race, right? Right. So she's an 18-year-old, first majors, and she sticks her nose right in there, and great composure. I've heard this a lot of this talk about, the girl that won it, my gosh, she was in lane 8. Was the lane 8 crooked or something? It's 60 meters, So she wasn't like in the middle of the track, but she was still on the same track with everybody. She still had to execute at a high level. So I was just amazed at the number of women who lined up and all ran 7-0 at the same time. That was phenomenal to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, huge shout out to the picture reader, right? Like 704 was 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you know what?
And there was no bib grab to figure out to sort out those places.
No. See, look,
we're gonna get to that.
See, y'all trying to keep me in the positive lane. You keep poking at me. Now look, the women's 60. Scott, the women's 60. For me, it and our EP alluded to it, right? From an American perspective, let's be real. This may change in the very immediate future, and now it's really interesting, right? But Mary Beth Sant Price and Micaiah Briscoe are not the names you think of when you say, women's American sprinting right now.
Nope.
But they chose to go out for indoor. They made the team, and then they went out there and ran their asses off and represented us extraordinarily well.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the American perspective. Very proud of what those ladies did. Brianna Williams, because we all know Otto, because we watch Brianna at World Juniors, quote unquote, but understand by far the youngest in the field, right? She's still a teenager, and she's been on the scene for a minute, right? Like, everybody forgets how much of a baby she really, really is. So for her to get there and run 2 lifetime bests in that setting, amazing, right? But I'm sorry, the story is Kambunji. Kambunji been on the scene for a minute, and she's always right there, but not good enough. You know what I mean? And it looked like that was going to be the story again. She made the final. She's out there in lane 8. Props, Swiss, go team. Bro, it's not like she won running slow. What, 96?
96, yeah.
I'm gonna say this. We were in the same hotel as the Swiss, right? And every night I ended up having some sort of conversation with, it's weird, somebody from the Swiss team. And listen, the younger Kambunji set a national record in the hurdles.
Yes, baby sister, that's right.
Their youngest decathlete put 200 points on their national record, and he's an 828 long jumper. Their second hurdler broke the national record before it got broken again on the women's side. The Swiss had a monster meet. And every night they was there partying about somebody.
What? I don't even know it off the top of my head, but where does that run by Kambunji put her on the all-time list?
It's tied for number 4 all time.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Kambunji.
Listen,
number 4 all time.
Listen to these names now.
Right. Give me the names. Yes.
Rivalova, Devers, Jones, Audi, Tanu, Kambunji.
That's incredible.
Yes,
that's absolutely incredible.
Briscoe running under 7 seconds.
Yeah,
people need to understand, that's not a normal thing.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I mean,
you don't usually run 699 and lose anything.
I mean, this indoor season, so Swoboda and Briscoe are both tied for 11th all time now.
And I mean, that's part of the story too, right? So Swoboda was the favorite. I mean, by all accounts, she choked. Hell of a race.
And I'll be honest with you. Look, listen, I was in the building, and I promise you, she didn't.
She just got beat? Question mark.
She just got beat.
No. But absolutely. because it's not like she went out there and ran 7:12 or anything, but
Mhm.
like going in, like none of the major names are there, right? So it's like it's her race,
Yeah.
and she finished off the podium,
And she'd already beaten Elaine earlier this season.
right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like she took Elaine, like, you know, so
Mhm.
you know, incredible race.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead, Lucius. Lucius 3 in a row, men 60. Get into it.
Okay, so the men's 60, you start with the rounds, right? And when Bracy comes out and he PBs in the first round, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And like for me, Bracy's always been a good starter, but his acceleration is much better than it's been, in my opinion. He's much better further down the track, because I don't think he started that well in the final, right?
No, he didn't.
But he accelerated well. Christian looks ragged to me, right? I mean, if as ragged as anybody can look running 6:41, but I mean, he still looks ragged. But the Jacobs is a monster.
Yowzers.
Right? There's nothing. Okay, nobody's ever going to call him a finesse sprinter or a pretty sprinter, but when the daggum clock stops, like he's very, I don't want to say robotic, but he's just very, very matter of fact with all of his movements. And it's just, what I love about him is like he never panics. Once he gets up and gets to his rhythm, he just holds it right down the track. And that's why he won the race. He never panicked. He didn't start gritting and grunting. He just right down the track.
Okay, so I don't remember what episode it was, but a couple weeks ago, we asked the question, Jacobs, flash in the pan or here to stay, right? And I was, he is here to stay. He is all the way real. I think it's incredibly difficult to pull off what he just did. Olympic title, deciding to run indoors, and indoors in Europe is a way bigger thing than it is over here.
Yeah.
So he knew the mission he took on when he did it. And for him to come in there and beat the world record holder head to head,
maybe
in that setting. Oh, he beat him. Like, listen.
Okay,
I was already a fan.
Beat him. He beat him.
I was already a fan.
But what I want to say to you is that he beat a shadow of the world record holder.
Listen, all that's cool.
Because if now, let's not forget, Coleman's PB is 700s faster than that.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
That's a different world.
Awesome.
It's a different planet. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take any shine off what the man did, but like, there's too many people blowing this horn and he beat the world record holder. Now, when Coleman, how we want to put it, gets back to 634 and he beats Coleman, I'm going to pat him harder on the back.
Right.
But he won the world championships. He ran a great race,
sir,
but I'm not blowing the world record horn.
But wait a minute. It is a factual thing to say that he beat the world record holder head to head for the 60-meter world championship.
You are the champion of semantics, sir. You love to take things and change them around. I am not saying. Hold on a second. It's a factual statement that Christian Coleman is a world record holder. You're absolutely right. But we have to stop lobbying that up there like he beat. Oh my God, he beat the world record holder. The man's been out of the sport for 2 years.
Yeah,
he's working his way back.
But that's his fault.
Okay, exactly. But so then stop acting like he beat Coleman at his best.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
But that's kind of the way it came out.
No, I'm not responsible for how you heard.
By a show of hands, can we raise our hands if everybody else felt the same way I did?
It's the insinuation.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, too. I don't insinuate. I speak very clearly.
Exactly, and you very clearly were blowing the world record on. But let's not digress. Go ahead.
Not at all.
Look,
listen, the point I was trying to get to was this. Jacobs is incredibly poised. And I believe after watching the Olympics and after watching this world championship competition, of all the sprinters out there right now, 100-meter guys, I'll take his mentality and his focus and his execution over all of them. Call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me that Christian wasn't 7.3s, right? It's about the statement that was
Christian
laid
was
down.
7'3", we got a problem.
Wait a minute,
6'3",
sir.
6'3".
Wait a minute, sir. Stop. Y'all are not being real right now. We all know that if Christian
said
Coleman
7'3".
wins that race, he's going to be jumping up and down, and the narrative is going to be he's back. No matter how fast he ran, he's back. This is mine.
Okay,
He's going to be out there like that.
Whose narrative?
The sports.
Uh,
Definitely
not
Christians,
mine.
but the
Not
sports.
mine.
The sports.
Well, this is what I find interesting. A couple of weeks ago when we talked about all this stuff, I said that Marcel Jacobs is the second coming of Maurice Green. They run very similarly. He's just taller. So let's just do this. Maurice was 9'79" and 6'3", 6'39".
Mhm.
Jacobs is now 9'80" and 6'41". Right? And the race happens the same way, because I promise you this. I don't know what's going to happen in July, but if those gentlemen had run 100 last week,
Yapping.
it's a wrap.
Yes.
Yapping.
Yeah.
But
Coleman ran to
but it
the
ain't July.
line. Coleman ran to the line. Jacobs ran through the line.
Absolutely.
There's a
It
difference.
ain't July. So
Yes.
I will address your jumping up and down narrative. I'm back. Well, he ran 6:41 whether he won the race or not. He ran 6:41. So
Yeah,
in
it was
a
great
lot of
race.
ways, but from my eyes, he's not back yet.
No.
Okay.
He's not back.
But
He's
listen,
not back yet.
okay, I'm gonna say, listen, we all can watch the races, right? And do what we do out of them. Before the gun started, runners to your marks. 7 people on the line are jumping up and down and doing the stuff that they do. What did Jacobs do? He stood still, went like this, visualized his race, and went out there and executed it, right? When Christian won indoor USAs, go watch the tape, what he did after the race. Go watch what he was saying and what he was doing, right? All I'm saying is that was a statement race, regardless of what the time stopped at the clock. And now, if the world wasn't already, the portion of the world that thought that the takeover was coming back, and I'm sorry, our EP was on that boat not too long ago. Christian's back, he's gonna dominate. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Well, so here's what I look. Since you came at me, I'm gonna say this. We all look. We can all look at the chalkboard and come up with different assessments. And I'll tell you what I come up with. Christian Coleman went from 656 to 641 in a really short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic season.
And I'm going to tell you this. The one thing I was convinced of after watching the Indoor World Championships is that the monster's still in there. Yeah. And he's going to get to 634 at some point this year. I mean, I don't know when it's going to be. Right. I don't know that anybody's blowing Marcel Jacobs out. But if you're asking me, do I still believe Christian Coleman can win world championships? I'm gonna tell you absolutely yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but wait a minute, sir. Now you're saying he can win it. In the past, you said he's gonna win it, and it's not gonna be close.
My point is this: I haven't changed my horse.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be an incredible race.
Anything. This is the wake-up call. This is the, okay, all right. This is the, and you watched, the post-race interview, all of that. I mean, the dude was like, you could just tell, like, didn't say much. It wasn't demonstrative, nothing like that. You could just tell. You could tell, I have a sense that we are going to see the real Christian Coleman pretty soon.
Listen, I stayed in the same hotel as them. I spent a fair amount of time with those guys. And I won't share with the rest of the world. I'll just say that our whole conversation about Fugazi time trialing was definitely heard. Look, I mean, this is what Clyde is here for. And here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to share with the rest of the world where Marvin and Bracy and I stand. Let's just say this: we're not on opposite sides of the fence.
All right.
No, wait. We need time to praise Marvin Bracy because he ran his ass off.
And that's what I wanted to do. Look, Marvin Bracy and I had an incredibly adult conversation prior to any rounds, and he was reminded that I've been a fan of his for a long time. And watching him run those 3 rounds, I was actually really, really proud of him because, look, there's some monsters in that group, right? And you got to run fast and be composed, and you know, like, he did a really good job. He's guilty of like trying to get to the finish line faster than he should have. I think every one of us who's ever run sort of kind of fast has done that. You know, he was in his race model for 55 meters, then 5 meters of like, come here. And, you know, that happens, but he still got a medal.
Yeah.
You know, and he still produced 3.6, 40 something runs. And, you know, look, the 9.8s he ran last year, we're going to see those again.
Yeah.
And we may see faster.
I would say, and maybe beyond.
But I will say this again, the one thing I am 100% sure of is this: none of us know who's going to make the team in the 100 this summer.
Can we say that probably is going to be? I mean,
we know one
I
person
can't
is
even
going to make the team.
Well, sure. Yeah, we know one of 4. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I've said, I said this when I was over in Serbia. I was like, you know, the truly petty thing to do would be for the 200 guy to just run the 100 and the 100 guy to just run the 200.
There you go.
The truly petty thing to do would be that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what them and their coaches' plans are, but I know this: we're going to send 4 really fast 100-meter guys and 4 really fast 200-meter guys to Eugene. I know that.
So I would like to give a friend of mine his flowers, Mr. Alan Johnson, who, I mean, Gabriel Cunningham, I mean, hello, silver medal in the 60 hurdles.
Bronze
medal. But nevertheless, if you want to talk about somebody getting over the hump and going to a championship meet and showing some of the potential that this young lady has, unbelievable.
You know what was most impressive about that?
What's that?
Is that she ran a great prelim, an awful semi, and a great final.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And usually in your first championship, you don't fix those mistakes on site.
Yeah.
That's right. So if we're now into the women's 60 hurdles, I want to take time to give some flowers in that race to Devin Charlton, the silver medalist, and her coach, Lonnie Green of University of Kentucky. I have a bit of a connection to this story because if you ever watched Devin run in college when her and Coach Green were at Purdue, Devin was amazing in college for Purdue. Amazing kid, amazing family. They thought, and by they, I mean her coach, her family, herself, thought that as she transitioned into the professional world, she would be better served in a professional group with other professional hurdlers. And I was lucky enough to be tasked with having that job. Devin is nothing but a hard worker. She does everything you ask her to do. She's a fantastic kid. But you know what? Moving to a new town, living by herself, the isolation of the reality of pro world, it didn't work out for her with me. And she went back where she belonged with Lonnie Green and instantly revived herself. And now she has her first world medal. And I could not be prouder of that kid. And her parents are such good people. And that story to me is a testament to anybody who's out there in the collegiate ranks. You really need to consider how you get where you get when you hit the pros and the path that landed you to be a pro athlete, because changing it up isn't always a great idea. And even for a kid like that who literally will do anything you ask, it just didn't work. Not through any faults of her own or no bad vibes, no, none of that. She's just a great kid. And I was almost in tears watching her get that medal because she deserved it. And she almost had the gold. I mean, she PR'd back-to-back semifinal, final, 781. Like, Devin is
new
tough.
new national record.
Yeah,
National record for the Bahamas. And I'm so glad that her parents were there front and center to see it. Not that they wouldn't be, because they go anywhere for that kid. And so, Devin, Coach Green, man, listen, that girl's going to be on podiums for years to come. Years to come. Fantastic kid. And shout out to the French lady who's 21, who I've never heard of. Was just out there poised and took the goal.
So
just ready.
My favorite part about that is, right, there's 3 events that the French have always been able to coach: triple jump, pole vault, hurdles. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who her coach is?
Nope.
Teddy Tomgo, the triple jumper.
Are you serious?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Wow.
That is her coach. And we had a really, really funny moment because there was, okay, you guys will all laugh at this. In the warm-up area on the day where there's the men's heptathlon 60 hurdles and the women's 60 hurdles, there were 16 hurdles in the building for warm-ups. So you can already imagine what that looked like, right? So Teddy and I had a funny conversation about hurdles, and I was actually sitting on a hurdle, not even like to do that, but I was sitting on a hurdle, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess I do need 2 of these, whatever. So I brought the hurdles over to him when we were done with them, right? And the guys behind him were talking smack about, not necessarily me, but people hoarding hurdles and whatever in French. So I leaned into Teddy and I said, don't tell them, but I speak French. He busts up laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then later on that night after they won, right, I'm talking to him in French or whatever. And one of the guys that was talking smack was with him and looks at him. And I told Teddy. So it was a funny little moment. But I mean, the hurdles were wild. I mean, Chris Johnson had a young lady there who's from Arkansas. She set her national record for is that Venezuela?
Venezuela,
Yes.
Moda.
Yes.
Right. So
Moda.
like it was like Oprah was out there. You get a national record. You get a national record. You get a national record. Because I will tell you this, y'all. It's a good thing that track is in Serbia, because if that track was more accessible, there'd be a whole lot of records that go down. Because I promise you, that track is a springboard and it is insanely fast.
So speaking of insanely fast, can we talk about the horizontals now?
I mean, is that a fast? Is that a fast day?
Okay, so can I go first?
Yeah.
No. Can we start with the positive? Can we start with?
Let's start with.
The world record.
We're not only going to start with the positives. We're going to address how tracks are constructed, right?
Okay.
Whenever we in the United States, we know the fastest tracks are the high banked, permanent banked,
Yes,
with the dash track that's Mondo or whatever on top of concrete, right?
or poured surface.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This particular track, the bottom level, so the 60-meter dash is 3 meters or so off of the bottom surface of the building.
10
So
feet.
like you can
10 feet.
you can
10 feet
literally
to the US
walk
audience. 10 feet.
underneath the track. So the entire track is suspended. So the bank is now basically double suspended. I don't know what that science looks like, but I know this. If every single step of your long jump or triple jump approach and the takeoff spots are all elevated,
Yeah.
when you figure out how to time it up, which it took the men's long jumpers 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But when you figure out how to time it up, Katie barred the door. And when my guy from from Greece. So let's be clear. He's the only one that figured it out early.
10 to glue.
He had the first plain foul of the meet.
No, just foul.
All right. He had the first foul of the meet, but his first jump was every bit of 855, 860. It wasn't any shorter than the jump he won with. And be clear, he had an 855 and an 851. But after round 2, everybody in the field basically figured it out, and it was just
and all of that. Listen, all of that's cool, but if we're talking about the way tracks are constructed, I'm going to make an official LLC request. And since you was in the VIP box next to Seb Coe and everything, you should have delivered this message personally. I'm a little upset with you about that. Miss Rojas needs her own board. She don't get to jump from the same board as all the women do from now on. She needs a new board about a meter or so back, because the fact of the matter is, when she broke the outdoor world record, everybody was like, listen, that's amazing. And oh my God, but she can get so much more out of that second phase. Well, you know what? Damn, she can't get any more out of the second phase now because there's no more runway for her to jump from. So she needs a new board, and she can go on and jump her 16.5 or whatever the hell she's going to do next. Because my God.
It is a wild thing. And look, I'm not trying to pick fun at Sir Lucius, but he sees it all the time. So it is a wild thing to know that someone is gonna break the world record.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? And first time down the runway in warmups, I was sitting next to an agent, and I said, she's gonna jump 16 meters this year, and it might be today. And he looks at me, and I was like, I didn't stutter, I didn't stammer. I said, I'm telling you that's gonna happen. And we had to wait for 6 jumps until the timing got right and she didn't foul. And this was my shock face when she jumped 1574.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course you did, because all you needed to do was take off in the same area code of the board and land, because every jump's that far.
Right.
Her first jump was a safe jump, and it was like 1520.
Crazy.
That woman is an alien.
She's tall, fast, strong, and coached by Ivan Pedroso.
Yes.
Like, that is too many cheat codes all combined together.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the so where do you want to go from there? You want to go to about the women's long jump?
I mean, we could talk about the women's long jump. If we're in the field events and we're discussing world records, there's one of two conversations you could go here. I mean, personally, can we get into the upset of the meet?
Well, that was last.
I
thought we were going to talk about that. I thought we were going to talk about that last.
Yeah.
I'll say this about Mondo's world record. Most people don't know there was a meet in the World Championship venue like 3 days or so, 4 days or so before the World Championships. And Mondo went to it and broke the world record.
Right.
Yep.
And then 8 days later, he broke the world record again.
Yep.
Okay, but
The man's been in that building
crazy,
twice.
But the craziest thing about Mondo's world record, and I don't know, I don't know if you were watching the meet live, on Peacock or, whatever network you have around the world. Like, the craziest thing about Mondo's world record that he just did was it looked like the foolery of the track meet was going to cost him the shot.
Yeah.
Because
We thought it was going to steal a world record. Yes, we did.
They made him wait for lame 4x4s to be run, and broke his rhythm.
Yeah.
And it took him 3 jumps to get it back.
Yeah.
Like, that was the craziest part. Like, the world championship meet ended with Mondo's world record because the 4x4s were over. So that alone is bad protocol. Like, he's not supposed to have to wait until the meet's over to go like that. So you know, we all know he's the best ever, but the poise that he showed in that moment was crazy.
I just need people to like let this wash over. Chris Nielsen jumped 590, which is really, really high, and he got beat by a foot.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like that's insanity, folks. 620 is just different.
And he can go higher. If you
No,
watch
he's
him
going to
clear
go.
it,
He's going to go higher. He is going to go higher.
all right, so we got all the world records off. So
Yeah,
now can
we got all three.
Yes.
can we get into the
So
the
Lamar, I need Lamar needs to tell us what he saw when he entered the stadium, when the long jump was about to go, and
Okay.
what did you think?
So we run the 60. This is how you know the track is fast. There were 12 guys that ran the heptathlon 60 meters, and 8 of them set lifetime PBs.
Wow.
So everybody's excited about the long jump. We come out for the long jump. Warm-ups are going. I still don't see anybody. And finally, they close the pit, and I realize there's nobody within 10 meters of the long jump board. Like there's no humans.
You're right.
And so the setup is a long jump runway, an empty board, and then 10, maybe 12 meters up and off to the side of the runway, there's a lady sitting there looking at an iPad. Usually, like if you were outdoors where the wind gauge person is, that's where she was sitting with an iPad, calling fouls. And here's the wild part. It's they have a 3-light thing that's maybe 6 inches tall that's right next to the long jump board, and the jump goes, and then that thing either lights up all green or lights up all red. That's how you know whether it was a foul or not. And for whatever reason, the closer you are to a plain foul, it takes longer. So like Jerry and Lawson he was walking around for like almost 5 minutes before he found out that the jump was clean. But there was it is the weirdest thing ever to watch a long jump competition and there's literally no human being sitting at the board.
So how did they flatten the standout again? Who did people actually do that?
There were no human beings involved in the running of the long jump. Like beyond that lady, there wasn't a person at all.
Wow.
They got a machine. It's flat and leveled, and all of that.
Wow.
Okay, so wait a minute. You use the term that apparently is New World Order to everybody, only they ain't really know nothing about it. The REP
Correct.
just used the term that everybody needs to understand. It is called a plane foul.
Right.
And we don't mean like flying the planes. Okay. So as the best of the long jumpers on our screen, I would like the governor to explain to the world what the rule was, what the rule is now, and what the hell a plane foul is, other than some bullshit.
Well, as much as I'd like to go in with you with the BS part, it's a new rule, right? And there are some major adjustments that are going to have to be made. The best way, so let's take a step back. Historically, when Lamar and I were jumping and doing our thing, there was a layer of plasticine that was the whole length of the toe board. So I mean, God help you if you hit that thing flush you were going for a ride. This is what it used to be.
Because it was like jelly.
It was jelly, absolutely, right? And what shoe companies did at that time was that they smoothed out, I'd say like the upper, I'd say the last inch or so of the bottom of your shoe, so that you could theoretically like actually touch the plasticine and not leave a mark and get a clean jump.
They also moved the spikes. They moved the actual metal spike holes back closer towards your toes. So like basically like spikes used to be this far from the end of the shoe, and then they moved it back to like this.
Moved it back. So that was, you know, cat and mouse, call it what it was. But the whole idea was, I mean, you could get as close as you wanted to the edge of the board, and you could probably get away with it. And I think we can all say, Lamar and I could say easily, you know, we've had instances where we knew that we had gotten away with one, right? So then World Athletics changes it from just a flat piece of plasticine to plasticine at 45 degrees, right? So it's actually
basically
raised,
a small,
it's actually raised up. So
like
imagine the flat surface, right? And then there's a 45-degree angle of plasticine. So here's the board. And so there's the plasticine that's raised up. So now if you actually get anywhere close to it, you're actually going to leave a mark now, okay? Now, that had been the rule up until last year. And unbeknownst to, I would say, everybody that showed up in Belgrade.
I mean, for sure, everybody who showed up in Belgrade was like, what is this?
Right. The rule has changed to this. An athlete fails if they are taking off prior to the instant at which they cease contact with the takeoff board. Listen to what I'm saying. While they're taking off prior to the instant at which they cease contact with the takeoff board or ground, break the vertical plane.
Correct.
Invisible
takeoff board, right?
Yes, the invisible vertical plane. That's the same vertical. For American people, it's the simplest way to understand it. It's the same vertical plane that you break when you score a touchdown in the NFL.
Yes, right.
Yes.
It
is the same mythical vertical plane
of the takeoff line with any part of their takeoff foot / shoe, whether running up without jumping or the act of jumping. And this rule was amended in July 2020 and enforced from 1st of November 2021. Who in God's name knew this had happened?
This is my theory, and I'm not actually being, you know, unserious. Pandemic hit, they were bored. They needed something to do, and then they forgot to tell the jumpers, because don't get it twisted. No one knew that in the building.
No shot. I promise you.
So many reports. No one understood what the hell was going on.
No.
The heptathletes were the guinea pigs.
Right.
I mean, and my thing is,
from a professional standpoint, okay, what do we know about the NFL? If any new rules are introduced, the entire world knows, okay, so what is a catch now, right? What is how do you recover a fumble? How do you, like, down to the details, right?
We know what finishing the process means.
Finishing. My Dallas Cowboys. Please. So anyway, let's, and it's such an oxymoron, because not only are you putting your athletes on the most bouncy, fastest runway ever in existence, but now you're telling them that as your foot rotates off the board, you can now break this imaginary vertical plane. Who knew? Okay.
See,
now,
you know, the worst part is that it would be one thing if it was imaginary like it is in the NFL. Here's the problem. We got a bunch of eggheads in our sport who have created a digital vertical plane. And it is attached to computers, which are attached to little green and little red lights on the side of the board.
The iPad lady.
The iPad lady runs the show now.
The only thing that's good about this rule is that you can totally see the jumps now because there's nobody sitting by the damn pit.
Right.
That's the only good thing.
Yes. So they've increased the vision. Right.
Here's the problem. I have so many problems. First of all, when you change a rule and then every medalist ever is crushing you over the changes, it's a bad rule.
Yes.
Okay. Now it's sport, all sport leagues, all sporting people, we come up with bad rules. This is one of those moments where you just need to understand that it's dumb, it's unnecessary, it is ass backwards, and just scratch it out, go back to what it was. Because here's the problem. One, that rule is only going to be enforceable at world championships, Olympic games, and maybe the Diamond Leagues, assuming that the Diamond League advisors want to pay to have that technology brought out for the meets.
Absolutely.
Nowhere else in the world is that going to be practiced or enforced. And so if high school level, collegiate level, club level, international club level, and all the B and C level pro meets can't practice this, how the hell are you going to enforce it at the championship? That's the number one. Number two for me is mathematically, last I checked, the actual board is 20 centimeters.
Correct.
Hell, I'm not a jumper, but I've coached a lot of jumpers, and we spend all of our time trying to be perfect on the board. And now you're telling me I can't be perfect on the board. I have to give away 5 centimeters, or when my toe rolls, I'm going to be told I scratched.
The board is essentially now no wider than 18 centimeters.
Absolutely. Yes. So
like at the end of the day, if you're at the 19 centimeter mark, it is almost impossible not to foul.
Yeah. So here's some statistics, right? You know, I had to do some digging. On the men's side, 66 total jumps, 29 fouls. This is the world championships.
Correct. These are the best guys in the world.
These are the best guys in the world. Think about this. It gets better. On the women's side, 51 jumps, 22 fouls.
Yeah.
Okay. You do the math on both sides. 43% of the jumps at the world championships were fouls.
Because no jumps coach teaches their athlete to give away an inch.
Exactly.
This rule, this is a worse idea than, shout out to my boy Sean Jackson at TCU, the people who say, just measure the jumps from wherever they take off. I just want to know how far people can jump. This is worse than that.
Yes, it is.
This is a worse idea than that.
Okay. And let's be honest. When they decided that 0.100 of a second is as fast as someone can react, we are now moving into a new dimension where, again, do not get all of the board because your jump will be assessed a foul.
Correct.
Right.
We're giving you Hello.
I,
Here's what we're giving you, but you can't use all of it.
right. Right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The white part. You can't use all the white part.
Right.
You
Right.
I can only imagine what's about to come, you know, for the rest of the year. Now, the other part is, you know, for the Diamond League meets that don't have this technology, what is that 90-degree plasticine? How is that going to? I'm trying to imagine what it would look like to me running down the track and seeing an uneven.
Correct.
Think about that, Clyde. So
It's because it's raised.
literally going to be tiered.
Yeah.
So the whiteboard is going to be lower, and then there's going to be a higher part of plasticine. I mean, for a jumper, you don't want to see that. You don't want to feel like if I'm over this, I could I don't know. I can't even fathom.
Look, all I'm saying is y'all didn't tell nobody that you changed the rule, so it's cool. You get a pass. Just go and put it back to how it was. No harm, lots of fouls, and we move on. Like just you gotta stop this. Like this is absolutely insane. It's not even teachable.
No,
you can't teach people to comply with this. It's not like,
because,
hey guys,
because the truth of the matter is the size of the board is now dictated by the size of your foot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you have smaller feet, right, you're going to roll over less so you can get closer to the edge. It's just that simple. Right, the board is 18 centimeters, but if you're a female, that's like Chu probably could get away with 19 centimeters.
Mm-hmm. Yep. When Carl Lewis himself jumps on Twitter and has some choice words,
Hey,
you know.
Listen. Carl likes Twitter. Carl gets on Twitter. Carl was on Twitter. Brittany was on Twitter. Tiana was on Twitter. Like everybody that jumps is like, what are you talking about? When, how, and this is some bullshit. Like there's photos of feet on board with good jumps.
Clearly behind.
No, look, the Greeks' first jump was probably 860. And it was called a foul. And he's like this, and you know, my hand is the edge. He's like this, and he just rolls forward, and his toes go over the plane.
I'll tell you this: the long jumpers, the jumpers, y'all was way too calm. Y'all took that. Look, I was waiting for a John Drummond lay on the track moment. Like, no, y'all gonna mark my jump. Like that's where that needed to go. Because if I'm in the middle of a world championship competition and I learn that there's a new rule and I got a TV and I know that my jump is fair and y'all tell me it's foul, no one else is jumping.
Well,
no, the competition's gonna stop.
It's not even about the video anymore. Like, so prior to what we just saw, we would go to the video and we would look at this.
Right. Yeah. Right. You're watching that.
Now we go to the video and we're watching this person watch this. Like, what? I mean, Lamar, I don't know if you saw it. Did you see Akila's the jump?
Absolutely.
Right? And it flashed up green. And then
right, yeah.
Green,
red, green.
Right. Right.
670, 680. I mean, it was a big jump.
Right.
And, you know, I feel for her, you know, because I'm sure in the moment she had no idea what was going on, you know, and obviously there wasn't any education coming down the pipe to say, hey, guys, look out for this. This is what it is.
So wait, I got two more things from World Championships. Got two more. One, I don't think it's going to take that long. I think we were just all amazingly shocked by it. Like I said, and no shade, because I mean, I guess you can't go undefeated forever. But Ryan Krauser lost the shot put.
Yeah.
Like upset of the century.
Yeah.
It was
What did you see, Lamar?
I'll tell you, the funniest part is I know it wasn't done intentionally, but the announcer was alerting the crowd to the fact that Ryan Krauser was losing and getting the crowd hyped for every one of Ryan Krauser's throws, ostensibly rooting for Ryan Krauser to win.
Oh, that's
like,
wild. Which I'm
like
sure
it wasn't intentional shade, but it was such a foregone conclusion he was going to win that they weren't even trying to disrespect the young man who won. They were like, yo, we got to get Krauser's head out of his butt. He's not winning.
And Ramadi threw his ass off.
That's what I'm saying.
His ass off.
Right. They threw really far. Right. It's not like Krauser threw 2090. Right.
Yeah.
Like they both threw 22 meters plus. It was wild. Right. It was absolutely wild.
All right. So I'm sorry. I got to do it.
You're gonna bring up the 4x4.
Sir, look. Team USA got blanked in the 4x4. Men, women, blanked. No medals. Now, the women were in the final, and 3 teams beat them. The men were not in the final, and I have questions. So I'm going to throw my questions to the LLC, and true that this means you as well, because one of y'all people who are more intelligent than me need to answer this question. Now, our EP alluded to the schedule, which was a little wild early, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Trevor Bassett, props to Division II King Trevor Bassett, made the team his first, went in there. By the way, his primary event is the 400 hurdles. Let's be clear about that. Makes the team, goes to Europe, wins a silver medal in the 400.
In a really fast time.
Yeah.
In a 45-0.
Yep.
Right.
And then, inexplicably, the 4x4 comes out to run the prelim, and I don't see Trevor Bassett. I see an anchor for Team USA whose primary discipline is the 800 meters, who last ran the 4x4 in college for Penn State. And lo and behold, he pulled a hamstring chasing people who, are sprinters. And we don't make the final. Now, no one can plan for the kid to get hurt, and I hope he's okay. But how the hell you leave the silver medalist in the stands and then not make the final? Like how does that decision? I don't understand.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Do you have the same energy if after racing 3 quarters in 2 days, running a lifetime PB of 45 flat at night, the next morning he's on the track, runs a 4x4, and he pulls up? Do you have the same energy?
What I want to know, and I'm serious, if Trevor Bassett raised his hand and said, "Hey, I'm good, I don't want to run the prelim," then I'm open to the conversation.
What I'm saying is this: I wasn't in the room, so I'm not gonna definitively speak for the coaches, but I will say I had enough of a conversation to know this. It was an untenable situation, and you kind of had to figure out, you kind of had to pick which person you were willing to risk getting hurt. Because it was, all right, we'll start with this. The pool was short by 2 people because they were on the team and then decided to pull out from being on the team once the rosters were locked. They could not be replaced. So you had to run with who was there, right? And the issue is Bassett runs 45 flat the night before, and you got a prelim in the morning and a final the next evening. And it was properly assessed. it's not going to take a world-beating time to make the final. Because let's be clear, they only missed the final by 0.3 of a second. And that's with the anchor leg pulling his hamstring with 160 meters to go and managing to finish it.
No, incredible heart by the kid. Incredible heart.
And so I'll say this, like, look, it turned out badly, right? But I will, I'm here to bash when bashing needs to happen. I will be completely honest with this. I think if they put Trevor Bassett on the track that morning and he pulls up, everyone says the staff's a bunch of idiots and they are negligent. This dude should not have been out there without ample rest, and they got him hurt. That's what I think the narrative would be if that was Trevor Bassett running and he pulled. It just is unfortunate the way it went down.
Listen, I'm here for both sides of the argument. I'm just like, look, let's be clear. The men's, this isn't a couple years ago when Poland went out there and ran 3:01 and won the indoor world championship.
Yeah, the relays were slow.
The world championship team ran 3:07.
Yeah,
okay. So
the relays, both relays would have been off the podium in the SEC meet.
Yes.
Right. So I'm just like, look, you could have told Trevor Bassett, hey, bro, look, go on out there and jog around 2 laps and we're going to make this final. Like, that obviously could have happened because the kid pulled it with 160 to go and missed the final, right?
Okay, but remember, right? There's a prelim and a final in the same day. So now you're telling Trevor Bassett, we're okay with you running 5 400s in 3 days. And I know that you've never done this before because no other human being has either.
And I'm with that.
Quincy Watts.
I want to know.
Quincy Watts.
Yep.
Quincy. Yes.
So,
but there's only one.
So EP, and I'm being so serious about it. So I guess, to me, my opinion truly on this falls here. 2 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, whenever it comes out, because it always comes out, right? Like I said, if Trevor Bassett raised his hand and said, I'd rather not, and then that's what happened, no harm, no foul on anybody, the kid got hurt, cool. But from the limited information that I know about the human being that is Trevor Bassett, I find it really hard to believe that he said, hey, I'm good. I don't need to go out there.
But sometimes you have to protect people from themselves. And I'm just saying, like, listen, I understand what you're saying because the result is a difficult one to swallow. There's a global championship and we don't get a medal, either gender, in the 4x4. But I promise you, the ire and the vitriol would be 5 times worse if we get Trevor Bassett hurt by trying to have him run 5 quarters in 3 days. Okay, I'm just telling you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I accept it. Now, tell me about the women.
Now on the women's side, like, okay, listen.
Tell me
I said this in our group chat, and I know you didn't believe me when I said it. I watched the prelims. I watched everybody run the whole time I was there. They didn't mess it up. They were the 4th best team.
Period.
Like, and at the end of the day, like, not only is look, the best quarter miler that we took on the women's side was on the mixed relay last summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So just let that wash over you. Okay.
But
she's
again,
the best
the
one.
winning.
She's the best one we took.
What? The winning time was what?
She's the best one we took.
Okay.
Right. At the end of the day, you guys have all run indoors enough to know that savvy indoor runners will set up newbie indoor runners every day and twice on Sunday. And this is what happened. With 100 meters to go, Femke Bol and the young lady from Poland, they are on Lena Irby's shoulders. And I watched this happen. They split her,
yes,
knowing she could not defend against both, therefore neither. So one hung back on Lena's rail side, one went wide. Lena went wide to try to send the young lady from Poland Femke Bol was like, "Oh, I'll take that cheese." Went right inside of her. So now Lena's like, "Yo, that can't happen. I know Clyde is at home and is going to give me all kinds of the business for letting somebody go by me inside." So she tries to slide inside, and the Polish chick's like, "Sweet, nobody's in my way." And they literally went shah right by her at the right in the last 10 meters. And I was like, "Yeah, I saw this happening 90 meters ago."
Oh my
right.
And here's wait a bit. Governor, I need you to tell me if you agree with me on this, because I feel like the EP just set me up perfectly. You see how he said what he said at the beginning of that? He said, savvy indoor runners will set up rookies.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Yes.
And he's right. He's absolutely right. But see, he's focusing on the end of the race. I got up early and watched the prelims. And the fact of the matter is, according to the EP, we had the 4th best team in the competition. But magically, after the prelim, we had the 2nd best team in the competition. And in the prelim, the one savvy runner we had out there, Jessica Beard, led off the prelim team. She didn't do an amazing job, but she did a good enough job to set up the rest of the people.
The rest of the team. Yep.
Then we get to the final, and we put the rookie out there that didn't know what she was doing, and she gets blasted, and we start off in 4th place. Now, he just said that the savvy people set up the rookies. So why did we change it?
Well,
I can't answer.
So let's think about the nature of the 400 indoors. Okay. What is the one thing you are taught to do?
Get to the break.
Get to the break, right?
Yes.
Get to the break.
How many times you got to see it? You can't win from the back.
It's almost impossible.
So the disadvantage that you're putting the next 3 runners in, okay, is ginormous. If you do not give your teammates an opportunity to run free, I mean, and that's what we saw. So you start off at a deficit, you hand the baton off, and now you're asking your 3 teammates to go chase and chase and chase and chase and chase. And that is never a good situation to be in at the World Championships, okay? And like you said, Clyde, we saw what Jessica did in the first round. She put them in a better position.
Did her job.
I mean, I don't know. I call a spade a spade. I call it like I see it. You know,
it was not. It was definitely not America's finest hour. I will say that. And it was, listen, every one of us. Well, actually, Big League hasn't, but the other 2 of you have been to Europe, and it often happens that you are not necessarily as proud to be an American as you were before you left, right? So that happens from time to time. I will tell you, it was difficult to sit there and watch that in the VIP box.
Right.
Like when
at least she was wearing Team Grenada stuff. At least she was wearing Team Grenada stuff, and you speak French.
Yes. But nobody, and I mean nobody, was rooting for the United States in that box.
Oh man.
Well, look, all I'm saying, man, if we starting off the Global Championships 2022 with no medals in the 4x4, it might be a long ass year. I'm just saying.
We know that's not going to happen outdoors, right? We know.
I don't know anything.
Shot.
I don't know anything. I know that we could have sent Arkansas or Florida's. We could have sent the University of Florida's broken 4x4 from the final without champion Allison and did better than that.
So there were 26 races, 26 4x4s in NCAA that ran faster than the World Championship winner. 26 different teams.
Yes. Now, I will say there is one thing that does contribute to the race being a little bit slower than it should have been, and that is the incomprehensible use of lane 1 and 2.
Oh yeah.
Sure. I mean, the
Right,
Europeans been doing that wrong forever. I don't know.
In my mind, I'm like, there's 12 teams. It's just like NC's. It's 3 heats of 4. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing for you there. That's another dumbass rule.
Yeah, it's just why. Because I kept saying, like, even if the US gets in, they're in lane 1. Might as well not run anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Like even if the men's team had if they had somehow survived the last 2 heats, they would have been in lane 1.
So wait, is it because they only recognize, like, the paid spots are 1 through 6 indoors, right?
Yes.
So is that it? 1 through 6. So we're just going to use all 6 lanes.
I mean, maybe because they used all 6 lanes in the men's and the women's 400.
Yeah, they always do that crap.
It's wild.
So I'm you make the 400 final, you in 1 or 2. Look, I'm gonna finish the race and get this check, but ain't no way 1 and 2 gonna do anything except finish 5th and 6th. So,
well, it's funny unless your name is Shawnee Miller, because Shawnee Miller-Wevo had lane 2 in the prelim.
Sure.
Right. That's why I said unless your name, because she ran like 51-47 or something like that from lane 2, and I was like, that was way too easy. So, yeah.
So that's our wrap up for the
Hey.
Indoor Worlds was amazing. Go visit Serbia, not during a war, when you can go outside and go enjoy yourself and not be concerned. But yeah, it was amazing.
I mean, it makes you kind of wonder what happens at Outdoor Worlds.
Listen, I can tell you this much. After this Indoor World Championship, I can't wait to see Outdoor Worlds.
Oh, absolutely.
Because look, Indoor Worlds was off the chain, and I promise you, we could spend a whole nother show about people who weren't there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. I mean, 696 won the women's 60, and we can name like 10 people that we assume could run faster than that person.
And have. I mean, not in a 60, but that
Right.
you would never. No one's picking, and I'm a huge fan. No one's picking Kambunji to win the 100 meters outdoors. Now, hell, maybe she can. She just ran 96. Maybe
she did beat one of the Jamaicans.
She absolutely
Yeah.
thoroughly beat her. So
Yeah.
hey, look, anything can happen.
I mean, in that same breath, we're talking about Sharika Jackson running 7:04. That is akin to.
It's a very serious problem outdoors.
That is akin to our friend in Claremont running 6:55 in the 60.
Mhm.
Because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
we've all known the first half of her race has been lacking, but we know what comes after that. So I cannot wait to see what these athletes do outdoors.
It'll be here before we know it, for sure. So, well, that is the Indoor Worlds recap, and we did expect it to take a lengthy amount of time. So that is our show topics for the week. So we are bringing back, as not because we haven't done it because we didn't want to, but shows have been inundated with a lot of other things. So rapid fire, the governor. Have you stretched? Did you go to the training room this morning? Did you take care of your body for this?
I'm ready.
All right. You ready, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. What book needs to be made into a movie?
Oh my.
Only one answer.
There's definitely more than one answer, Clyde.
Yeah. Man, that's a tough one because a lot of my favorite books are movies now. Man, you got me on that one.
All right, we'll move on that one.
What you got, Clyde?
All right, yeah, Clyde, chime in.
Survive and Advance.
Oh, I don't know if that could be a movie.
That can't be a movie. That's
it's a-
got to be NC-17 for sure.
Oh, it's a
Can't show that in
movie.
the can't show that in the theaters.
You absolutely can.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna scar so many people.
All
Hey,
right.
Good film does that.
Oh my gosh.
That's
All
why I
right.
only saw Beloved once.
What was the last dessert that you ate?
Ooh, that's an everyday thing. Apple turnover.
With ice cream? No ice cream.
I can't eat ice cream.
Oh, just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah. That's not good for me.
He has the same stomach. He has the same stomach as Sir Lucius.
Yeah.
All right. Which country gave you a better kit as an athlete?
Gave me a better.
Kit?
Oh, USA. For sure. I mean, I have some stories.
Oh my goodness.
Literally 2-3 days before. Where's the mom and pop store? We got to find something. Can we get it embroidered? Can we figure something out?
Oh my gosh.
Been there, done that.
Oh, wow. Okay. So within yourself, what is your personal weakest link?
Procrastination.
Yeah.
Procrastination.
During your athletic career, what was your biggest leap of faith?
Switching to the United States.
Ooh, I can see that.
By far, like everybody looking at me like, are you crazy? Like you're leaving a situation where you literally have to break a leg to not go to all these major championships, and you're going to try and make the hardest team to make on the planet. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did it.
You going to Rice was pretty blind faithy as well, sir.
Well, that's
No, but it was intended. There was a
story is
statement with it.
That's for another day.
That was Clyde level petty.
Oh, you are not a coach. What is your profession?
DJ.
Love it. When was the last time you demonstrated a skill at practice?
Every single day.
That's a brave man right there.
Every day.
Right?
I've now learned how to calm it down. I'm not as demonstrative, and no, I'm not leaving the ground. I'm not, I mean, a lot of my peers have stories, So,
A lot of your peers have 1.5 Achilles.
Right. Hey, bro, don't show up at the convention on a scooter.
We've been known to
Travis
flame
is the latest one. Travis is the latest one, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that one.
Mm-hmm.
Last question. How many stopwatches are in your backpack?
One. My wife has the other 8.
That's funny.
She's the one walking around with looking like Flavor Flav. I just have one, and that's all.
One and done.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Well, we had to get you warmed up with rapid fire, so you have survived my questions.
Okay.
Lamar and Clyde, questions from you two.
I'll give you a softball. What is the thing that you are most looking forward to from Texas Relays?
I want to see poise from my 4x1.
Right.
We're going into the meet ranked number 3 in the country, which means absolutely nothing. We're gonna dive into the deep end, and I want to see how they react.
Should be
Lamar.
fun. What'd they run last week?
39-34.
Oh.
Hey, that's
Isn't that
an
what
opener.
TCU ran?
I don't remember. 39
I think
and change.
TCU ran 39-35.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, so
That's dope.
That's an opener for you, sir.
I
Off
know,
camera, I'll
that's-
tell you what we opened in.
You know, he already probably knows where this question is coming from, but I'm just going to ask it because at the end of the day, I want to know. You can only have one. Do you get the world record in the long jump or do you get the world record in the 100?
I feel like you've asked him that before.
No. Long jump.
No.
Long jump. It's
Good.
by a mile.
I don't even know why you ever sprinted.
that is again, I mean, when I decide to write my memoirs, I'm probably going to dig up some major things. There are a lot of things that the general public doesn't know, that what led to me actually sprinting in the first place. And it's deeper than just athletics. It's much deeper than that.
I just need the rest of the world to understand, like, the governor was afraid of his own speed and then decided to make the boogeyman bigger, badder, and meaner.
Well, you hear it over and over and over and over again. And TCU, 39, 34.
Yeah,
exact same
we're
time.
both at 34.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But long story, had to be there.
All right. Well, back to the huge program. We'll wrap up with heartbeat props. I think we can all give a blanket heartbeat props to Sir Lucius, who wasn't feeling well, so he did sign off early. So hope you're feeling better, sir. Little sleep,
Indeed.
some more stress cutting will definitely make you feel better. Always, right? So see it at the relays tomorrow. But heartbeat props, just making sure that people go recognized while we can and while they're here to receive them. So Clyde, go ahead and go first, and Lamar, you can go after them.
I wanted to go first because mine is not personal, but I have been enthralled with the confirmation hearings of who will soon to be our new Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson. The woman's incredible, and I know a lot of
patience of Job, that's for sure.
Look, hey man, listen. Let me tell you something. I know that political processes are what they are, but for this woman to have to sit through 3 days of utter disrespectful, just made up nonsense, and to sit there and take it with grace while also educating these clowns who are trying desperately to do what exactly? You have absolutely nothing on this woman.
Appeal to their base.
Right. Like it's maddening. And you know, the fact that the world all knows that she dare not stand up and act like Kavanaugh did when people were asking him legitimate questions about real things that he did in the world, right? If she showed one bit of anger, one bit of
it's a wrap,
of that, it'd be a wrap. And the craziest thing is she wouldn't dare give them the satisfaction. And it's amazing to watch. I'm a political nerd, and I didn't know much about her when this process started. I thought that some of the other candidates would ultimately be the choice. I'm really, really impressed with her. She is obviously the right choice, and I could not be prouder to know that she's going to be representing a whole lot of things on the court very, very soon. It's long overdue, and she's amazing, man. It couldn't be me, because them people are crazy.
They'd asked me one too many times about racist children's books, and I'd have lost it.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So it's funny. I am usually not a political person. But I am wearing this Slovakia hat specifically for my heartbeat props. We were thrust into a situation where the young man that I work with is from Grenada, and the country is very small, and they couldn't send a physio with us. and won't bore you with the story, but we ended up with this incredible young lady from Slovakia who was our de facto physio, his de facto physio for 3 days. And the conversations I had with her were mind-blowing for all of us Americans who just don't really understand like in-your-face war. So let me just make it quick. She's from the mountains of Slovakia and she lives 47 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. 2 days before she drove the 9 hours and 45 minutes to the World Championships, her and her brand new of 2 months husband took in relatives who had fled from the Ukraine. They are Ukrainian. One of whom was a 5-day-old, because part of the fleeing involved a 9.5-month pregnant woman who gave birth in the stop before they got to them. So they literally took on 4 people, one of whom is 5 days old. And she never had anything but a smile. She was, incredibly engaging and enlightening about like what the Ukrainian response to this like wake up and somebody wants to fight you kind of deal. Because let's be clear, like Tuesday, we're all good. On Wednesday, Putin has declared war against your country. What? Oh, okay. Got it. So we're fighting to the death now. Okay. Let me brush my teeth, right? Because that's literally how it happened. And, for me, I'm going to say, look, my heartbeat props go to not just the Ukrainian people, not even just the people who live in the countries that border the Ukraine and border Russia. And for all of my wonderful American people, get a globe, educate yourselves. There's a lot of countries that you probably know people or know athletes from that are literally borders to this spot, right? I mean, Serbia is 2 countries away. But my heartbeat props actually also go out to the frontline Russian soldiers who have no choice, right? They live in a communist country. They get done. They do what they're told to do. And let's be clear. As of 3 days ago, there were 12,000 dead Russian soldiers and more than 16,000 injured. 27% of the Russian forces have been killed or are injured. And the Ukrainians, I guess this is an incredible like stroke of genius in war, but also a stroke of humility and kindness. As they take on POWs, they are video recording them and then playing back the way they're being treated on YouTube and through other channels so that their family members in Russia can see that they are not only alive, but are being treated humanely. This is, this is not what happens in war, right? And so my heartbeat props go to, look, all those who are directly affected by the wars that are going on in those border towns and border cities in the Ukraine, because at the end of the day, like, look, unlike the borders in the United States, every single border and every single capital in Europe has had bloodshed to get to where it is, right? Like that's how the borders have been established in Europe. So, this is an awful time and I hope that it ends soon and with as little bloodshed as possible. But for sure, my heartbeat props go out to all those who are being currently affected by, you can't call it anything other than Putin's war, because that's what it is.
Both of you have taken what I wanted to say. Those two, those two stories, as far as I'm concerned, are the two stories that are heavily on my mind. And I just echo both of what you both said. I think about where Brittany Griner is in the middle of all of this. As a a member, as a famous person, as someone that is recognized worldwide, to be caught up in the middle of all of this, guilty, not guilty. I mean, they're going to, exact their judgment on her. But obviously I pray for her safe release, and that she can get home safely. As far as I pray for Europe in general, and the restraint that is being exercised right now, knowing where the line is and towing that line, it has to be extremely difficult, for the European Union, for NATO, for the USA, because I think, we're dealing with someone that is cornered. We're dealing with someone that is slowly but surely being pushed into a corner. And I think it could get to a point where we don't know, how unpredictable, Putin is going to be. So, I'm just, in general, I'm praying that this thing, ends up, he's given an off ramp, whatever that is, that, because there is, what's coming is Cold War era widespread suffering in the country of Russia. That is coming. Okay.
Yes.
And we're focused on the war in Ukraine right now, and we're praying that stops. But what happens when the general public in Russia is now suffering? The entire population, and we don't know what that looks like, so in the
it's
world
coming.
And in the world of uncertainty, you hope that cooler heads prevail, and we can figure out some way to keep both sides out of something major happening.
Definitely. Well, my heartbeat props were much more lighthearted. Much more lighthearted. A former athlete that I was blessed to work with, this Cole Seward, is actually getting married to his longtime girlfriend. So the bride-to-be and the groom get married on Saturday. Going to be at Texas Relay. So love you all. Have fun. Gifts are at the door, so go get them. But I hope you all have an amazing day, weekend, and a life beyond this weekend, because you too deserve it. So not that they're young love, but they're young people, and they deserve all the happiness that they're going to experience together. So coolio for the two of you. But with that, that's episode 101. Crazy. So I know, right? Oh my gosh. So without further ado, we will bid you farewell for the evening. See you next week. Everyone travel safe. Have fun this weekend, and see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Triple digits.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents mess the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth hit 'em hard, knock 'em off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics LLC, there's no others. Track and field's placing with pill to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to? Your circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, or it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.